Dr. Yoo, welcome to the Fieldswell Podcast.
Hey, Lauren. Thanks for having me here.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
So you're a leader in stem cells and regenerative medicine, and we're boarding a spaceship to discuss the future of healing.
Yeah, you saw my interview with the Captain Kirk.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, Are you ready, Captain?
Let's take off.
Let's go. Let's take our listeners on a journey. So I love an origin story. And in your book, which we have right here, you talk about being obsessed with building a strong body from a young age. And how the injuries from this and you kind of pushing human potential and performance got you into chiropractic and then eventually stem cells.
Yes, exactly.
Walk us through that journey.
Well, you know, I've always been fascinated with physical culture, you know, growing up in the 70s with Arnold Schwarzenegger and got his encyclopedia of bodybuilding. Didn't really have the genetics for it, but had the passion. So when I went to Michigan State studying sports medicine, of course I injured my back in the weight room, right? And I wanted to continue. So I know I didn't want to take drugs or surgery. So I found this chiropractor, and when he took the before x-ray, you could see my gold chain was crooked on the x-ray, my whole spine. And when he fixed me several months later, it was straight, my back pain was gone.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I worked as a personal fitness trainer. You know, bachelor's degrees, just a piece of paper.
Right.
I was working as a fitness trainer, you know, in Michigan. Got in chiropractic school, finished my pre-med, and then started a practice. I actually started overseas in Central America. I worked as a missionary and then this medical missionary team. But that's where my skills got good because I'm seeing like hundreds of patients a week, right? Whereas if you're in the States, you start a practice, it's very slow.
Right.
My skills got pretty good. Then I said, you know what? I mastered Spanish, might as well master Korean because I never learned it growing up. Went to Korea, was able to open up a couple practices. After 10 years, got married, moved back here. Oh, what do I want to do? Took a year off, got back into chiropractic. But at that time, it was 2009. After the big bubble, practices weren't doing very good. So how can I reinvent myself? I discovered these lasers that would manage chronic pain, regenerate tissue, invested in laser and decompression, got bored with that, and then hurt my shoulder, ripped my rotator cuff in labor, doing CrossFit, of course. Didn't want surgery, wanted to continue training. It forced me to discover stem cells. 4 months after, I was doing clean and jerks again. That was 2017. Now we are 8 years later. I could say it's pain-free as long as I warm up. I mean, it'll get pop or clicking now and then, but I can do anything I want now. Now I do more powerlifting, so it's not as much unpredictable strain like CrossFit. I could kind of control the movements better. And that's what brought me to the stem cells,
It's so interesting because growing up in the U.S., we think, okay, we have an injury. We listen to a doctor who says you need surgery. But you ask, maybe there's another way. And that's really where I feel like people are starting to turn to stem cells now. And we're hearing all of these incredible stories of recovery. So for our listeners who aren't very familiar with stem cells, what are they? Can you break that down for us?
So stem cells, a special type of cell we're all born with, okay? And what they do is they're like firemen. So they circulate in your body looking for the number one cause of disease, which is inflammation. So let's say you do tear your rotator cuff, it's inflamed, it's hot. They're going to detect that inflammation, heat, go there and repair it, okay? Let's say that you have inflammation in your liver, it'll home in the liver, decrease liver inflammation, okay? So that's the best way to describe it. The problem is as you get older, your firemen start to retire and get old and they don't work as well. So that's why athletes retire at 30. Because that's when your stem cell count takes a dive, okay? If you're under 30, getting stem cells from your own body or bone marrow or, you know, your fat stem cells makes sense because it's your own and they're young. But after 30, those cells are already old. They're not as regenerative. They're not as in number. So it makes sense to get it from a donor. And these are not aborted fetuses. That's unethical. It's illegal in the U.S. These are after birth tissue. After the baby is born, what do they do with the umbilical cord? They toss it. But now mothers donate it, and we could use it to regenerate tissue in the recipient.
So I've heard of stories, hospitals keeping the placenta or umbilical cord and then selling it.
They're not allowed to sell it.
Okay.
Because that's human body part trafficking, if you will.
Right.
They have to be donated.
Okay.
The real expense is the lab that has to process it and store it. That's where the major of the expense come in.
Sure.
But no, I mean, you get a choice. The OB/GYN says, hey, would you like to throw it away, which they did in the past.
Okay.
They thought it was waste tissue, but now we know there's golden stem cells in there.
Yeah.
You could bank it, you could freeze it, so when your baby's older, they could use it on themselves, which is the best, or you could donate it.
Okay. Yeah. So would you say the best stem cells come from placenta or umbilical cord?
The best is from your own if your parents were smart enough to bank it.
Okay.
That way it's your own when you're older. You could kind of grow it and bank it over and over again. If your parents threw it away already, the second best is a donor.
Okay.
But the good news is you don't have to do a blood match or tissue match because pretty much it's universal to all humans. It ensures that the fetus survives, although they have mother and father different DNA, if you will. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Your body won't reject it.
Okay.
That's a good
so when
thing.
you say a donor, that's someone who
like the mother who donates her baby's umbilical cord.
Okay.
It's sent to a lab, they test it,
Wow.
make sure it's sterile, put it in, vials, freeze it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how are these stem cells typically administered? Is it like on the site or is it through an IV? Or are there different ways?
So if you have a systemic disorder like autoimmune disease, then they could IV it.
Okay.
And that'll home in on the inflammation systemically, your whole body.
Yeah.
If it's like arthritis, let's say if you have bone-on-bone knee, you don't want a knee replacement, it's injected right in the knee joint to regenerate the cartilage.
Yeah.
The spine, you could do it around the spine, any joint. For organs, usually they IV it, it homes in on the inflammation there. There are some exotic injections like for brain regeneration, like memory loss or, people have autism or a stroke with brain damage.
Yeah.
It's an intrathecal injection, usually like an interventional anesthesiologist or spine surgeon can inject it.
Yeah.
And it'll go in the spinal fluid and that'll home in on the brain. Some people inject it in the sinuses in the nose, and that'll foam it, go through the blood-brain barrier. So there's other routes of administration. Yeah.
Now, when you arrived here, we were talking about the friends that I have who are really interested in stem cells, and they're looking to go, to clinics in Tijuana, in Panama, in Dubai. Why do you see people seeking clinics outside of the country if we can do stem cell therapy within the U.S.?
Yeah, so I've been to some of these clinics, and so their whole contention is in the U.S., unless you're in a clinical study, you're not allowed to grow the stem cells. So whatever you get from the donor tissue, let's say it's 10 million, that's how much you get. But when you're overseas, you're outside the jurisdiction of the FDA, you can pretty much do what you want as long as that government allows it. So they'll take the 10 million and they'll grow it to 100 million.
Wow.
And they're thinking the more is merrier. But the problem is if you copy something too much, like let's say if I put this cover through a Xerox and I rip off 100 copies, it's going to be verbatim, right? What if I rip off 1 million copies? What's going to happen to the millionth copy?
Right.
It's going to be faded or it's going to be defective.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of these labs, they passage it too much. That's how many times they reproduce it or grow it. Then you could have aberrant copies or dead cells or, if you really want defective or dead cells being put back into you. So what we could do here to make up for the lack of being able to grow it is they grow it in what's called a bioreactor.
Okay.
It's like a bread oven. You put yeast, it expands.
Right.
So they expand it in this vat, if you will.
Okay.
They put growth factors to make it grow, a culture medium.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If I give you 10 million stem cells, IV it, your body can be a bioreactor. They can grow inside of you. So we use light therapy, lasers, shockwave, nutrition, to stimulate the cells to grow while it's inside of you. And though that way it's a more endogenous or, it's yourself instead of having an outside source growing it, your body's able to grow it.
Yeah. When you mentioned like the light and the laser, is that stem cell signaling?
Yes. So that's why my book is about certain frequencies of light and laser could signal the stem cells to proliferate, to regenerate at a faster pace. It charges your body's mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, and that's going to provide more ATP energy for the cells to proliferate and grow.
Incredible. We're going to get into that process in a minute.
All right.
One thing that I picked up on in your 10-minute power talk, which I recommend our listeners also tune into, was that the success of stem cell therapy depends on two things.
Exactly.
Share, do you mind what those two things are?
Yeah, it's the quality and health of the donor and the donor tissue. So the labs we use, they're very picky. Some will only use for like surrogate mothers, right? Because it's sterile. They're from C-section donors. And surrogate mothers have to be healthy, right? Can't have communicable diseases or unhealthy lifestyle habits, right? So it's the health of the donor, okay? And then second is the health of the recipient, you.
Right.
Do you have a low inflammatory diet? Are you eating a lot of sugar, which causes inflammation? Are you not exercising? Are you not taking good supplements? Are you not maximizing your mitochondrial health? Right? Are you doing things to stimulate your NAD production, antioxidant? Are you getting sunlight, vitamin D3? All these things. To, I hate to say biohack, but stimulate your body to grow more stem cells so that they proliferate and repair at a faster rate.
Now, when people come to you saying, I want stem cells, is there a whole protocol you kind of put them on?
Yeah, it's funny because I get those messages all the time. I want stem cells. Well, let's back off. We have to do a full evaluation, consultation, see what your needs are, how much inflammation is in your body, what are your goals, where are your aches and pains, or if not, like I had a patient today, no aches or pains, 70 years old, but she wanted for anti-aging and wellness. Okay. We're going to do, from what's found in the study on mice, they did plasmapheresis to clean their plasma and blood out. And within a week, they had 3 doses of like 1 trillion exosomes. Exosomes are the communication signals that stem cells release. And I think the age of the mice, biological age, was cut in half.
Wow.
So we're kind of like reproducing that in humans. We'll do the EBU treatment to clean the blood and plasma. And then we'll drop the stem cells in for 3 doses or exosomes to kind of reproduce that mouse study.
Let's talk about that EBU treatment.
EBU, I call it the blood oil change because you change the oil in your car every 5 to 10,000 miles. Otherwise, what happens to your engine? It fails. Because the oil gets, the oil gets thick and dirty. What happens if you never clean your blood out? All the plaque, all the glycated sugar, inflammation. What's the #1 killer of death?
Inflammation.
Heart and stroke, right? There's no warning signs. So the best way to mitigate that is to clean your blood out of all these pathogens and plaque and things that clog your blood system up.
So talk about how it gets filtered out. I saw like IVs in each arm. And then some light therapy on the blood too.
I mean, blood goes out one arm and it goes through a filter that traps in like mold, bacteria, inflammatory proteins, plaque. If you had the COVID shot, the mRNA vaccine, spike proteins. And then there's a liquid waste canister that traps in like uric acid, other inflammatory proteins like beta-2 microglobulins. It's a cancer marker. And then we saturate the blood with ozone and that oxygenates the blood. It'll change color from dark to bright and oxygenate your body. That's the purpose of your blood, carrying nutrients and oxygen for perfusion. And the ozone also disinfect your blood, which will kill more pathogens. And it'll stimulate your immune system. And your immune system is going to fight disease like viruses, autoimmune, turbo cancers, blah, blah, blah. So we're not advertising we can diagnose or cure any disease. All we're doing is stimulating your body to stimulate its own immune system to heal itself.
And is this something you recommend someone at any age getting?
Just like if you have a gas car, you're going to change. You have to change the oil. If you have blood in your veins, you got to clean it out. Unless you live on a desert island. I mean, 2,000 years ago, when there was no toxins in the air, there's no glyphosates in our food. The water's poison, the food, the air. You just got to get all the toxins out.
So how long does it take to see results from the EBU?
So, some people, I recommend you start off with 3. Because the human body has 5 to 6 liters of blood. So each time you filter it out, we can filter out 2 liters at a time. Some people feel fatigued. Some people, they can have a little flu-like symptoms, maybe some nausea. They could have what's called a Herxheimer reaction because they detox really fast, especially if you're really sick from like mold or Lyme.
Sure.
But those people, we do a low dose to kind of acclimate them to the treatment. Some people feel a lot of energy. For me, I wanted to do experiments. I did 6 straight with 2 cycles. And my blood work has been so bad, even though I ate keto and did CrossFit, I never could pass a life insurance test because my cholesterol was high liver enzymes, and high blood sugar, right? But after the EBU, my hemoglobin A1C, that's your blood sugar, it went from like 6.3, which is pre-diabetic, to 5.6. It stayed that there for a year. Liver enzymes are pretty much normal. Cholesterol cut it in half, and energy of a teenager. So
incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how long after the client comes to you and has the EBU do they notice changes like in their blood and in feeling better?
Like I said, each person's different. Usually it takes around 3 for it to go.
Some treatments.
Yeah. Some people, where they combine it with the stem cells, we do the stem cells after because the EBU drains the inflammation out. When we drop the stem cells in, they can do their job better. They don't have to fight as much inflammation.
Right.
You know, they feel incredible.
Yeah.
So some people with like gouty arthritis, which causes joint pain. Sometimes that disappears. So everyone's different, you know, different genes, different lifestyles, different tolerances. But yeah, I mean, we never really had somebody who, you know, had a real bad reaction. Everyone has walked out on their own. So.
Yeah, amazing. So for someone who comes to you for everything you offer, what does that progression look like? Is it the EBU, then the stem cells, or are there other things that you kind of protocols
we started with the full consultation and evaluation. Ironically, most of our patients actually flying from out of town, so we could do that on Zoom. You know, we could take a look at some of their evaluations, you know, blood work, exams. Our medical directors look upon that. I'm more of the researcher as the Ph.D. in stem cell biology. So I'm bringing the technology, and our licensed medical staff actually deliver the treatment. Then we'll discuss what their goals are, see if they're a candidate. If it's just pain relief, we could just do the injections in the joint that hurts. Or if it's like a systemic rheumatoid arthritis, IV it, or a combination. Or combine it with the EBU, which I think is better because, again, once you drain the inflammation systemically, the stem cells will do their job better because like firemen, where they could, you know, there's less fires in there, the more they home in on the joint or body part that's inflamed to do the healing. So the answer is both. Like today, we saw a dozen patients right here, and they all had the EBU. Then they had methylene blue, which it's an electron donor. It adds an electron to your mitochondria, so you get more ATP energy. All right, mitochondria is the powerhouse or the battery of your body, and stack it with NAD, nicotinamide, adenosine dinucleotide, powerful anti-aging antioxidant. So that's a trifecta. Some had the quadfecta where they had the stem cells as well. So
incredible. So cool what's possible. Is there a couple or one major like standout case for our listeners to really understand the power of stem cells? Maybe like a total transformation you've seen with one of your clients.
Yeah, just like the 10-minute power talk, we had the 86-year-old patient with bone-on-bone knees, didn't want a replacement, couldn't go up down the stairs. So we did the stem cells. That was like 5 years ago. And you could see the 7-month post X-ray, the joint space was restored, you know, and then 5 years later, she's still pain-free. She could go up and down the stairs without pain. Now she's 91.
Incredible.
So my point is, it doesn't matter how old you are, how old and quality are the cells we're using, right? They're day 0 old from afterbirth tissue, and they do their job. And we added the laser signaling to stimulate the cells throughout that time. And that's why she got those results. And you saw the spine case too.
I did.
The L5S1 spine was pretty much bone on bones, stage 4 degenerative disc disease. Had bad sciatica, did not want a spinal fusion. 6 months after, the disc space was restored. So
I'd so much rather go the stem cell route than surgery.
Exactly.
So pain relief, longevity. What are other common things you see people
Well,
for?
we had a patient named Carol at our Newport Beach Center, and she was healthy. She wanted anti-aging effects, so we IV'd like 1 trillion exosomes. That's what the signaling mechanisms of the stem cells. And she had her blood test, and her heart doctor says, your markers are like of a 40-year-old, and she's over 70.
Wow.
Like 76 or something. So it could have a very powerful anti-aging effect as well. Some people are having, there's a specific injection here called the sphenopalatine ganglion here. A lot of anesthesiologists do it. If you put exosomes here, it could restore vision and macular regeneration. So yeah, one patient had stage 5 kidney failure. After we IV'd the stem cells, I think the course of 3. Now he's out of stage 5.
Sure.
Yeah, the function's getting better. So yeah, just so many. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it's something everyone could benefit from.
Yeah, not everyone. If you have like a genetic disorder, like obviously they can't do much. And then there's some people that cannot do it. If you have severe anemia, if you have iron deficiency or low blood sugar, we cannot do it. So we'll test your hemoglobin, blood sugar, blood pressure, and we make you go eat something if it's too low, right?
Yeah.
Or we'll give you iron infusions until it's normal, then we can do it. If you have a disorder called G6PD deficiency, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, you can't break down like antioxidants like vitamin C or oxygen or ozone. If it's severe, you cannot have it done. So there are some considerations that we cannot do. It's not like a panacea, which we hope it would be,
Well, given all this information, I still feel like there is some skepticism and controversy around it. Are there any myths you want to debunk?
Yeah, you know, people say, oh, stem cells, if you put it in, can't you have a bad reaction, like grow a pair of teeth in your thigh or something like that? No, or it's going to cause cancer. No, that's only for pre-birth, aborted, derived stem cells, okay? Because those stem cells are so primitive, they're totipotent. They can grow into any tissue, including tumors. Afterbirth tissue, they're already predetermined to grow into certain soft tissue, muscle, bone, cartilage. So they're very nerve tissue. So they're very safe that way. So that's one myth we could dispel.
Right.
Yeah.
And for individuals who are, interested, they're researching where they want to go for their stem cells, is there anything they should look out for just to ensure they choose the right provider?
There's a lot of stem cell clinics popping up overseas, but again, I think the quality control is probably not as strict as the FDA, which controls all the stem cell labs here.
Right.
So, and when you go overseas, there it could be a lot of pathogens, like even eating the ice, you get sick or get parasites.
Totally.
So even though you might be getting good cells, you might pick up another pathogen.
Right.
And then who's going to do the follow-up? Right. Are you going to fly down to Central and South America, where if it's in the U.S., you could just pop in any time and get continuity of treatment? So, and then of course you're getting, the pure cells. So you're not getting any defective copies like growing it a million times.
Right.
And again, our purpose is to make your body healthy enough so they can continue to grow and proliferate and repair while it's inside of you. Yeah.
Yeah. As someone, leading the charge in regenerative medicine, what are the breakthroughs you're excited that kind of are upon us in the coming years?
Oh, apparently, I think in China or Japan, type 1 diabetes, it's very hard, okay? Because they don't have any of the pancreas cells called beta cells, islets of Langerhans, to produce insulin, right?
Right.
So normal stem cell therapy is not going to work. You can't repair what's not there. So apparently this could regenerate or grow those missing beta cells to actually cure the type 1 diabetes. But most of the research is overseas because the U.S., they kind of frown upon the industry. They don't really support it. They'll support big pharma, but the bottom line is there's no profit in cures. But luckily, the new administration is open-minded to this functional medicine. So hopefully it'll be available to more Americans. Absolutely.
Incredible. How has AI changed?
Yeah, so AI in medicine, eventually you'll be able to throw up an MRI or X-ray and they could diagnose it just as good or better as a top
instantly
as a top radiologist. I think it has its limits though, because some diagnostics is not just looking at a black and white MRI. I think 80% is a good patient interview, because you got to know the history, mechanism mechanism of injury or diet lifestyle to put that algorithm together. maybe they could do it 80-90% AI in the future. But, there's nothing like a real, a person you're sitting in front of. And it's just that, I call it 6D, is that human, you need some human interaction to really get a sense of, hey, what is the root cause of what's ailing you? Because it could, maybe it's not somatic, it could be spiritual somatic, because psychosomatic, right? And so I think there's a limit where I don't think you could put spirituality into AI. And I think spirituality is a big part of healing. Like, you pray for someone you don't even know across the world and they get better, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Energy.
Exactly.
Dr. Yoo, is there anything we haven't covered today that you would like to discuss?
Oh, no. I just feel that the stem cells is God's given gift and mechanism that he gave us so we could heal others, as long as it's the right type. The afterbirth tissue, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Where can
and the light. The light is the first thing created.
Yes.
First thing created in Genesis, and we use that to stimulate your body to heal yourself. All right. Yeah.
Where can our listeners find you and follow along with your journey?
Just I have a zillion websites. The easiest is www.iloveeboo.com. So ILOVEEBOO.com. And that'll take you to our Regen Biologics website, where you can learn about the EBOO treatment, regenerative medicine, and everything.
Amazing. And you have numerous clinics?
Yeah, right now, I just partner with a group where we have a place right here in San Clemente. We just did a pop-up clinic in Encinitas.
Let's shout out Victoria Merkel.
Yeah, and we might continue that with Gordon, Victoria. So we do pop-up clinics, kind of test the market and demand. And then if it justifies continuing, we'll expand there. Just like in Mesa, Arizona by Scottsdale, we've been doing pop-ups every weekend, every month.
So cool.
That's been
the
successful.
Pop-ups,
Yeah,
bringing the stem cells.
They're fun because, you do it all in one day,
Bringing the stem cells and the EBOO directly to you.
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing.
And we have a place in Las Vegas, and then, in Temecula here in California. And soon we'll probably have like North Orange County or, South LA, something like that, because that's where it's densely populated. So,
yeah, incredible. Well, thank you so much for coming on
today. Thanks for having me. It was fun, okay?
It was so fun, so inspired by the work you're doing, and I'm excited to get my EBOO.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Yoo.
All right.